wanted to talk about triads and why they are so important to know on the fretboard. So let's start with, if you haven't seen my lessons before, I need to tell you who I am. My name is Robert Renman, and I have been playing guitar for, I don't know, 35 years almost. Over 30 years. I've been teaching guitar for a couple of decades too, so I'm an old guy. You can see I don't have much hair left. And I like to play a lot of, like a variety of styles of music. I play blues. A lot of people know me for that, but I do play chicken picking to the best of my ability, country stuff. That kind of stuff. And I play funk, and I play jazz. And I play rock to some degree. I grew up playing heavy metal. But anyway, regardless of what style of music you play, it's going to keep a glance over here to see what people are typing in, to make sure that you can hear and see. So, triads. I keep talking about triads, and what are they? Why are they useful, and what can you do with them? So let's start with that. I'm going to play something in the key of E here, E major. Play an E major chord. I'm not sure if I'm in tune properly. Close enough for rock and roll, right? So, well, let's. I'm sure you do. So, we only need C chord, white key. So you get C, E, and G. And if we're going to do this in the key of E, just because the guitar is, has two E strings, so it makes it kind of easy to play in the key of E for us guitar players. So if we use that same idea, we just play. If we give each note when I play the scale a number, and we have 7 notes in any of the diatonic scales, as they're called. Well, yeah, let's just say major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it starts over. So if we pick out the third, the first, the third, and the fifth. Here's the first. I'm not playing the second. Same as on the piano. Am I saying the right thing about? I mean, I don't play piano. I have to think now. You skip you skip C. Yeah, I think I'm right. C, E, G on the piano. You skip every second, right? White key. Yeah. So the third note that we get to is this one. We're not playing the fourth, and we go to the fifth. So we get this Figaro, Figaro. And we hear that all the time, and you bass out of that. That's really important. In many different ways, we can, of course, I see. Example. One said rhythm chords, but they don't have to play all three together. If you do together, sorry about that. Quick check. a little. All right, something like that. All right, so and we only have to learn them all over the. It's definitely to playing melodic because of the chord or sophisticated just it. But still, if you play, I don't know, it's still in there, and they also exist in different inversions. I don't always have to start on 1. I can start on the 3. I can play 3, 5, 1. The 1 is up here too, the 12th fret, right? And if we do, and so let me show you the first voicing. On my website, masterguitaracademy.com, I have created a PDF for you where you can have a look at these triads that I'm talking about today, these voicings. I'd like to take a quick look over here. All right, so this voicing, which is part of that E major bar chord, or whatever key you end up playing and just movable, right? But if you think about these 3 thin strings, we have the triad right there. Or if you play the E chord here, we get. See if you can see. Make sure. Yeah, so any order of those notes, it doesn't matter how you play them, but they together create the triad. So that's one inversion of it. Now let me show you the next another. There's many different ways you can find the triad, but if we take that same grip and just add a 4th note, the ring finger on the D string on the 14th fret, then we get, which is the same as in that chord. Now we have 4 notes, but we have the root note, the 1. We often call that the root note. The 1 is the same here and here. It's 1 octave apart. So we can skip that high one in the second voicing and just play. And my intonation is a little bit out. I need to intonate this guitar. I haven't done that in a while. All right, so you see that we can hear that we have actually 2 notes are being reused. We have them here. Skip that thin E string, we have, and then I play the root note here now. So there are 2 different voicings for this triad here, even though there's only 1 finger difference, right? But this one is a triad that starts with the major 3rd. That's the lowest note. That's the major 3rd. Remember, 1, 2, 3. G sharp or A flat. It's also here. And then with the root note here, we just keep these 2 fingers where they were. So let me show then a 3rd voicing, which is located here. So now I'm going to be playing the same order of the notes as here, but I'm going to start on the G string. So in this voicing I played the D string, the G string, and the B string. now I'm starting on the G string, so the 3 thinner strings, and then the voicing looks like this. It's a different grip, but the same notes, you can hear it. Right? So those are 3 common voicings for a major triad. We have it here, we have it here, we have it here, and my intonation needs work. But you want to learn these all over the fretboard in different forms. Because that's freedom. That's going to give you ability to play the strong notes of the chord. Basically what we need to do is just to play some cool things in between. Especially when we play bluesy stuff, you know, that's sort of my style. So, anyway, I hope that makes sense. Do you have any questions about that? That's the triad, and remember the usefulness of it comes in because we can play, even though it's a chord, we can view it as a chord, but we can also view it as the strong notes to emphasize when you're playing lead guitar. So let me see if I can just show you what I'm talking about when you, in terms of hearing the notes. Let me play something like. I'm going to play 1 chord, 5 chord, and 4 chord. Now let me just check the questions here. Okay. Nothing problematic. It seems like it's working. Okay, good. All right, so I could be playing. I'm not even going to play a rhythm. I'm just going to noodle around on the E major scale, but then I'll emphasize the chord tones, the triad, as I'm doing that. So I might be playing. Just noodling around. I mean, it's not very sophisticated sounding maybe, but I hope you can hear what I was doing with the chord tones, right? That's obviously a very E major-y sounding stuff. So, and then for the 5 chord, I'm just going to find another voicing for that triad that fits where I'm at on the guitar. So if I'm playing this E major triad, the one I showed you, I might be playing and then that first voicing I showed you for E, this one, if I now move it to the key of B for the next chord, 5 chord, right? It's right there. And then A, 4 chord. And back to E. So it ties together your playing over different chords, and it's so much better sounding and so much better technique than to just play the E major scale randomly, because you could do that if you're playing over a 1 5/4 or 1/4/5, anything like that. You could just play. Randomly and have no idea where the chords change, and you're going to risk playing a sour note. You might be focusing on, and the chord is being, and you keep playing, and it's not going to sound very strong. It sounds like you're not really sure what the band is doing. So following the chord tones this way is a method, approach, tool, concept, whatever you want to call it, to play strong notes for the chords. Just try it. It's not, you don't have to worry about fancy chords. And I can play a G11. I can still play. Right? Here's that G triad. A B triad. Here's the chord. Or here. It's still gonna be like a safe bet, a good way to tie things together. All right. So that's sort of us noodling around. Let me show you now some bluesy stuff that I like to always use triads because as I said, they're simple to understand. They're a bit of work to learn on the fretboard, but it's fun work once you get that stuff together. You end up with freedom. You can play both rhythm and chords. I'm playing chords and licks and stuff, but they're all coming from the triad, right? I think that's what I really want you to see. So let me show you a lick then, and it's in the PDF on my website. You'll see these grips that I talked about. That's the first one, and then that's another voicing, and then we have this one, which is the same as the second one, just using different sets of strings, a different set of strings. Right? So I have 3 licks, and I have to see if I can remember them. Sloppy there. Let me do that. That's the first lick, right? It sounds pretty cool. It's groovy and it's in the pocket and all that, and it's really following the major triad, even though it's blues, right? When you play blues, you can often do either major or minor. That's just cool. So in this case, this one, the triad I showed you, and then I'll play. So now I'm playing basically the minor pentatonic backwards. That I'm sure you know. Right? And then I'm playing a triplet thing. But da-da-da-down, and then the lick is over. And the way I'm doing that, here, I do a hammer on from the minor third to the major third. Switch strings and play. And then I'm ending with the triad again. Now the second triad voice that I showed you, this one. But I do a hammer on, a quick little hammer on. That sounds cool in blues. So I'm barring here, and then hammer on, and then ending on the root note here. So if you analyze, that's what I think you should do when you look at licks and you think about triads and trying to learn this stuff. Locate the triad in the lick. In this case, the triad is, you can see it in two different spots. The first three notes, right there, and then I play notes from the scale, and then here. See? Right here. That second voicing. So that's one example. Well, was that clear? Any questions? Let me check. And then I forgot the lick again. Oh, man. Sorry about the sloppy playing there. I tend to forget the lick is immediately after I play it. But, you know, you can take that and change the phrasing. I'm just reusing those. Or I can go, if I do that, I'm actually going up to the chord tone, the major third. But I'm doing a little bend from below. Anyway, that's one example. And then let's see the second lick. I have to remember that again. Oh yeah, I did a little different thing here. So what you could do, I want to show you when you're playing over an E7 chord, you can play this triad I'm talking about, the E major triad, and you can play the minor pentatonic. And then you can play that's pretty cool. What I did there, that kept moving down, but I only played two triads. I played the E major triad and the D major triad. That's what I was doing. And that's something you can always do over a seventh chord. So you take whatever, let's play this triad, that's part of this chord. That third voicing I showed you. So you can take it and move it down a whole step, meaning 2 frets. And go back and forth between them. It's kind of a cool idea. You can do a lot of cool stuff with that. So in that example I have there, example 2, lick number 2 in the PDF, I played very simple. But sometimes that can be a good type of breakaway from just as something to break up the scale stuff and the typical licks. So you're just traveling with the hand downwards. So the first two are the same grip. And then we'll switch to this grip. So when I'm playing it, I'm playing 3 notes first. And then when I move it, I'm continuing on that same string and playing backwards from there. Both ways, both times. So that's lick number 2. Okay, let's check the lick number 3. What did I do there? Yeah, I played which is a type of lick that you heard a million times, that from B.B. King and whoever. That's the kind of thing you want to learn all over the neck. So it kind of ties into that previous lick. How do I play it? That's a cool lick in itself. So I'm playing. I'm using this grip and play with a slide in, because it always sounds cool to do on that note. I could play but it sounds cooler if you play you can even bend it or slide in. Okay, so what's happening there is I'm playing 1, 3, 5 with a slide in on the third 5. Then I play what's called a 6. We don't have to think too much about that, but that's like a passing note. And then I come in on the root note again, the 1 here, and hang on it, kind of milk that a little bit. And then when I'm ready, I'm just hitting the 14th fret and bend it up until I reach the major third again. That means I'm actually hitting the 2nd here. Again, we don't have to know that necessarily right now, but it's in between 1 and 3, so 2 makes sense, right? But I'm not staying on it. I'm just starting to bend it right away. So that's a classic lick, and this way of playing it actually is a bit awkward, I admit, because your hand is moving. But I wanted to show you that way because it relates to what we did before. If I play that at the end, I have my hand here, so I could play something like that. I could go up here, or I could stay here. There's another type of lick that's just kind of, based around that concept. Whatever, stuff like that. But it's all coming from this, right? So if I wanted to play this, if I want to play it here, I can do that too. Remember, the triad is here, it's here, it's here. I just play it this way, which is the preferred way in this case. This is the easiest place on the fretboard to play this lick, or this type of lick. There you go. So that's how it comes in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm starting on the 4 and, I think, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So that this note comes on the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? And 4 and 1. You can go and 4 and. That's how it comes in. And so on. Sorry for the sloppiness there. I had to, my mind is a bit scattered from all this software mishaps that I had. So that's all I had to show you today about this concept of triads. I hope you see how it's useful. So you want to be able to find these all over the fretboard. Without too much thinking for all the different chords that you're playing over. Because what's happening is when you play songs, especially if it's not blues, if it's something poppy or, you know, folky or, you know, Creedence Clearwater or that type of stuff, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Bob Dylan, whatever it is, you end up playing a lot of these simple chords, just major or minor. And that's another example of how you just take that one chord and play 3 different inversions of them. All right? You can do that for any of these chords. And the same goes for minor. You can find those different voicings instantly. Then you can start playing creatively with chords and lead. See, I'm overdoing it just to emphasize those chord tones in there, those triads in the chord. But I can use that to my advantage when I'm playing lead, right? Anyway, I hope you see the point of this. Extremely powerful, extremely important, I think. At least is how I think when I'm playing guitar. I don't want to just play the scale. And the triad is part of a scale. But it's those sweet notes that really makes your playing sound strong. And when you hear a player that knows how to find these triads as he's improvising, you can often find yourself thinking, yeah, that's melodic, that's cool, that's nice. Because there's no way you're going to hear sour notes when you can find all these chords. I mean, all the notes in between are just cool little passing notes or, you know, something that's just maybe complements the chord tones. All that other stuff is just, but this is the strong stuff. Right? All that fast stuff was just kind of, oh, that's kind of cool, but what ties it in is, if I didn't do that, finish it off somehow. And those triads are just super effective for that kind of thing. So that's all I had to share with you for this time. I hope that was useful. So go to masterguitaracademy.com and download the PDF, and you'll see these licks, these 3 licks, ideas that I showed you. And this is just scratching the surface. There's so much more you can do. And I can talk about this for hours, but let's not do that right now. You'll also find on that page a link to 2 courses I have made. You know, I kept talking about this important, find these triads all over the fretboard. And I actually have 2 courses that's doing exactly that. The first course is just showing you how to find the triads, the voicings. All over the fretboard, and I'm explaining it from the perspective of intervals, so you can really tie in the major scale with these voicings and be certain of where they are on the fretboard. So it's really useful for learning that. And I'm going through both major and minor. Then in the second course, we're taking those triads that we learned and applying them to songs like the weight. You know, the band, for example, and I have what's that song called again? Brown-Eyed Squirrel, right? And so on. 6 different tunes that we're practicing using these triads to. So it's a lot of fun to play, go through those courses and learn that stuff on the fretboard, because it's really applicable and it's immediately usable. And I also provide a discount code for you. There's a 25% off discount code if you go to my homepage. And that will be available for a few more days, but I will take it down. I want that to be a special thing for you guys who checked out this webinar. Okay, let me see if there's any questions before we wrap it up. I don't see any specific questions. I know it's kind of a big thing. If you haven't been playing for a long time and you're just learning the minor pentatonic scale, this might seem like a strange thing. But it's really the next thing you should focus on, I think, when you're, instead of just playing the pentatonic, it's just a little tool. If you learn the major scale, I mean, it's only 2 more notes. It's not that, shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's where you should go to learn the major scale and the minor scale, because the pentatonic is built into those scales. And from the major scale and the minor scale, you get these triads that you can much easier see on the fretboard and relate them to things. So remember that, I guess I haven't said that yet, but okay, let's just say it now, that the major third and the minor third, that's the only difference between the triads. So if I have this, for example, that voice that I talked about, if I take that, I need to know where the major third is. If I lower it half step, now I have a minor triad, a minor chord. Versus major. And in blues, you can mix those 2 in and blend them and so on. into them in and out of them. It's just cool. So, to wrap it up, learn the major scale, learn the minor scale after you learn the pentatonic stuff, and start to make sense out of these notes. They're not just random scale notes. They all have a purpose. And 1, 3, 5, remember that, if it's major, and if it's minor. Those are the strongest chord notes, and those are the notes you really want to be able to find without guessing for any of the chords that you're playing over. And your playing is going to sound strong. You can still throw in the typical blues licks. You know, I'm mixing triads there. I'm playing the Chuck Berry thing. If I end with, then I do the same as before, ending with the triad. See, that's Chuck Berry pentatonic mixed with the triad. That's all there is to that thing. And so on. You can take that anywhere you want. It's the concept that matters. Okay. That's all. No more questions. So thanks for watching, and check out Master Guitar Academy and grab those two courses I have about triads all over the neck, playing 6 popular tunes with these triad voicings. Really get to know them. Really practice them. Really make use of them. They're not just something you memorize on the fretboard for a lesson and then you never use it again. No, you use them all the time. That's what those courses are going to help you with. And remember, you get a 25% off discount for the next few days if you go there. All right? Sayonara, my friend. I'll see you next time.